Here we are. Hello, everybody. Hello, world. Hello, America. All right. Let me make sure that we're hearing things. All right. Yeah, we got it. How is everybody doing today? I am doing good. I've been really busy working on a whole bunch of different stuff. The week has gone pretty good. Had a death in the family. It was expected. It was one of my aunts. Her name is Ruby, and she was kind of like a grandmother to me. It was cool. My family's really close down there, so I mean physically close and emotionally close and everything. And so my grandmother and her sister have been like best friends for their entire life. And so being raised down there, I had my grandmother, and then I had my aunt and my uncle, and they were just like another set of grandparents. So supposed to be going down for a funeral. However, with the hurricane that's happening down there, that may be postponed. So I'm kind of waiting for phone calls and stuff. But anyway, other than that, the week's been going good. Been, I would say, relatively productive. How about you guys? Let me know how the week's been going for y'all. I'm going to jump over here and take a look at the chat room, see what we got. By the way, if you guys have a second, I would appreciate it if you guys would share this to your timelines. I'm going to share it to mine. And okay, let's see here. I'm going to share this. Got about 7.5 minutes before we officially start the show. Let's see, here is your church social. Post it. Right. Going out to my timeline. All right, now let's see here. I just got word that we are postponing the funeral, so I will not be traveling this week. Let's see here, which is good. It was going to be it's a long trip, like 6 hours down there, just down in the Corpus Christi area. But anyway, let me see here. Post. Just down in the Corpus Christi area. But anyway. All right. So if you are here, I would love for someone to say hi in the chat. Let me know who's here. Say hi. Tell me how your week has been going. Hello to Jordan over in YouTube. Jordan is my buddy and one of the guys I bounce ideas off of, and one of the guys that comes to me with ideas. He's a Canadian. Don't hold it against him. Jordan is awesome. Jordan is a fantastic dude. I really love him. And one of the things that he does is he hangs out over on the YouTube channel during the show, and he knows that I'm jumping back and forth between, checking the chats on both channels, and then actually producing the show and switching. I've got like a mess of different things. You want to see what it looks like? I'll show you. It's gonna look kind of weird because I'm doing a screen and a screen and a screen and a screen, but I'll show you. We'll close a couple of windows here that are unnecessary. Close that one. There we go. And I will show you. Boom! See, look at that. That is what the window looks like. I'm using OBS. It's not elegant, but it is functional. It's free, and it is pretty low on the system resources. Right now, with the recording and with the stream, I know you can't see this, but way down here at the very bottom, it's telling me I'm using about 13% of my CPU, which is pretty darn good for having a dual stream going on. Having when I say dual stream, I mean the CPU is being used twice for encoding. It's encoding and then sending out the stream, and it's encoding and recording. So right now, 25% of my CPU is being used, which is really good because I can still monitor over here on YouTube. I can still monitor over on Facebook. Let's see, music is a little loud. Okay, I'm gonna turn it down. How's that? Thank you for telling me, sir. And let's see, go to Facebook and see what's up. Look at this. This is really cool. Let me tell you, today's guest is Heather Hyman, and she is the gal behind Sweet Tea Social Marketing and the Sweet Business Jesus and Sweet Tea Podcast. I think that's right. I want to make sure I get the name right. Let me look it up. It's a great name. Great. I want to make sure that I say it right. It's Business Jesus and Sweet Tea. Yes, Business Jesus and Sweet Tea Podcast. Let me show that to you as well. She is a social media marketing genius. This is her. Anyway, it's really cool because she posted a thing on her Facebook page today, on her Facebook timeline, and just put it out there and said, how can I pray for you today? So I responded, and some of her other followers and friends responded stuff. And now she just posted a picture of her notebook, and with our names and specific things if we had them mentioned there in the post, and just kind of being accountable and saying, hey, I prayed for you. And that is really cool. That, I'll tell you, that is something right there. We're going to be talking today about social media and your church and all that. And that is something that is a great idea for a pastor, for a minister, anybody in leadership, someone that's on the prayer committee. I mean, just whatever, doing something like that, and actually doing it on like the church's Facebook page, which is really cool. And you really don't have to worry in that case about privacy, because no one's going to respond with something super private unless they're okay with sharing it. So you really don't have to worry about that. Anyway, that's just a great example from Heather. What a sweet gal. And I've got an interview that I shot earlier this week with her that I'm going to be sharing with you. And I'll tell you what, she's got some great ideas, great insights, great ideas. She does this. She's a social media strategist and works with she works with churches, but her primary focus is on small businesses, local businesses, as well as corporate, big corporate entities. She's worked big corporate. She's worked, with mom and pop shops up and down the street in the town square. And she's a social media strategist stuff, and so she's got a lot of insight, especially when it comes to Facebook, that some of us just don't think about. So she'll be sharing that with us here in just a little bit. Let's see here. I know I just reset the clock, but I'm watching the time here. It's not actually 8 minutes. It's about 10. Another 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll actually start the show. Let's see. John G. Mullet. OBS is great. Let's see. Jeff Navarez says slow. Oh, then Jeff's response. That's Jeff. That is your response to my question. How's the week going? It's going slow. I understand. Trust me, I've been there. John says he's had a blessed week. That is great. Let's see here. I'm going to go check over on YouTube. All right. Fantastic. I'm going to step away for just a second, guys. In fact, I need to get a mic flag. I need a mic flag right here. I'm going to put this up real quick so nobody freaks out. There you go. I'm just going to step into the other room real quick. I got something on my glasses. I got to clean them before we go. So 1 second. All right, guys, here we go. Thank you all for that slight indulgence. When I turned the light on that's on me right here, I realized that there was like a whole bunch of stuff on my glasses. I usually sit here in the dark. Not really the dark, not, you know, not like a cave or anything like that, but it's, I try to keep the direct light off of me and just use ambient light. Like that. See that? See my purple light over there? You know what that is? That is it's a smart light. It's not the Philips. It's from a company called Illumi. All right, we're going to get started here in just a second. All right, guys. There we go. Hey guys, and welcome to another thrill-seeking version of. That was weird. I'm gonna try that again. Trying to come up with a really good, snappy intro each time. This is what it's like making sausage, by the way, folks, because I'm doing this live. I was gonna. I like how Rush Limbaugh does it. He says, "Hello, thrill seekers." What does he say? Hello. Anyway, I'm trying to come up with something really snappy like that. So let's try this one more time. Hey guys, welcome to another action-packed, wonderful, fantastic, any other kind of like over-the-top adjective that you can think of episode of Church Training Academy Live, CTA Live. My name is Dave Curley. In case we haven't met, I am a video producer. I'm a marketer. I'm a live streamer. I'm a guy that's been doing live video for like 20 years. And now I'm teaching churches and small ministries and stuff how to do all this great stuff that we're able to do now with all the digital media and technology and all these things that are like at our fingertips, but that sometimes get overwhelming and sometimes seem like these walls that I don't know how to climb this wall, but I know I need to do it. My job is to teach you guys how to do that. Welcome, by the way, to the show. Today, we're going to be talking with Heather Hyman. She is a social media strategist and a genius when it comes to Facebook, social media marketing, and everything with promotion. And it's like my phone rang. It's like somebody doesn't know I'm live. I've been promoting it like crazy. You have to listen. Anyway, she is an absolute genius when it comes to this, and I have had an opportunity to speak with her earlier in the week, and I thought I would share that conversation with you. She is great, and you were going to learn a lot. Before we get into that, I wanted to show you guys something. I have a tool for you that will help you be more social in your ministry. It's a tool called Canva, and it is at canva.com. And let me get the appropriate screen here for you. There we are, canva.com. It is a free tool that you can use. All you have to do is go to canva.com and log in with like Facebook or your Google account or make an account. And what it is a designer for visual media, okay? Let's just take a quick look. We're going to do a quick design real quick. I'll show you how easy it is. We're going to create a graphic that's going to go on Facebook, okay? So when you log in, you can create a design, and you can see there's a bunch of templates here. You can also put in a custom dimension. So if you have some weird size thing that you want to do, you can. But what's cool is it's already got a bunch of pre-built ones for you. It's got business card, flyer, postcard, blog graphic, a blog title, a presentation, social media. So let's just choose social media, and we will bring up our canvas here, and you'll notice as soon as it's here, there it is. It already has a canvas that is 800 by 800 pixels for you. And here are some layouts that you can choose. And there's a whole bunch of different ones in here. So when you scroll through, when something catches your eye and looks like it would be good to carry the message that you're trying to carry, you can choose it and then start making your edits. And I had one, I was playing with it earlier. Let me see. I'm trying to find this one that I used earlier that I really liked. I remember it being down, down, down. By the way, if you'll notice, some of these are marked as free and some of them are not. The ones that are not are marked with a $sign, which means you have to pay for them. And it's usually a dollar or two for that design. So what I do is take a look at the free ones. And then if I want to use one or use the free one, or if I want to use one that is a paid one, I can just look at the design of it and then I'll copy it myself and create it over here on the free one. So let's just grab something here real quick. Where did it go? All right, let's just grab this one. All right, here's our fantastic, beautiful dog here. That's nothing that I want to do. So what I want to do is I want to put a scripture and I want to have a picture. So let's jump over here to Bible Gateway, and one of my favorite scriptures is "The deer longs for streams of water, so I long for you, O God." I'm going to copy this, and let's jump back over to Canva. Now, I don't need this part up here, so I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to come in here, double-click, select my text, and paste in what I want. I'm going to delete that, and down here, I'm just going to change this to DS. And I'm going to change the size of that. So I can select that text just like in a word processor or anything else. And I'm going to make the text a little larger. Now, I can also adjust the size of the text here. All right. Now, this doesn't work with this picture. So I'm just going to select this picture and delete it. And now I've got this generic picture background, okay? Let's go find a picture. So over here, you can search a bunch of images that they have in their library. And I'm just going to do a deer. And let's see. Now, again, $1 for this one. This one is free. They have some that you can buy. And you can see for stock imagery, $1 for an image. That is like some of the best pricing in stock photography everywhere. Now, you can also upload your own. So if you have your own, you can choose this option and actually upload it if you've shot something that you want to use. I'm just going to use this deer, drop it in here. Let's see. Let me get rid of this other background. There we go. Now I've got this deer, and I'm going to size it like that. Look at that. It is that easy. I am done. As the deer longs for streams of water, so I long for you, O God. Psalm 42:1. And now I can share it. I can share it. I can download it. I can have prints made. I can publish it, whatever I want to do. So if I want to share it, and let's see. Let's go to social. I'm going to send it to Facebook. I'm going to connect my account. Come on, Facebook. Continue as Dave. Make it public. And I'm sharing it. And that, guys, is it. That is Canva. Like I said, Canva is free. It also has a premium subscription that you get. It's a monthly price, and I can't remember what it was, but it ends up being very inexpensive when you consider what you're able to do with this. I will tell you that there are websites and blogs and churches all over the country that are using Canva as their primary design tool, and it works. It is great. It is a fantastic tool to have in your arsenal. Remember, I showed you guys Spark from Adobe. Add Canva to the list as well as tools that you can have for generating content that you can publish socially, or make slides for church, or make brochures, or print things. Any of that, you can do it all with Canva. It is a tremendously easy to use tool. All right. Today, like I said, we're going to be talking about social media. We're going to be talking about how the church can utilize social media and social media tools to continue a conversation. I've been talking the last several weeks about live streaming. And by the way, folks, if you are thinking about live streaming, if you have considered adding live streaming into your ministry and not sure what to do, then I've got a free resource for you. If you go to easylivestreaming.com, you can download the free guide, live streaming for churches the easy way. Get an idea of how you can start live streaming now in your ministry and then build from there. So take a look at that. When we talk about live streaming, I've been talking about how we create a conversation or we start a conversation on Sunday mornings, and that would be whatever the topic or the series is. We're continuing this conversation that we're going through whatever the current Bible study is or the Bible study series is. Taking that live stream, taking that conversation and continuing it throughout the week through your social channels, through Instagram, Facebook, if you're using LinkedIn professionally, at least for like a minister, building your own personal brand, that is. Pinterest, Twitter, other social platforms, continuing that conversation helps build a online community and an engagement with the members of your church. It also puts out there what is going on in your church and showcases some of the culture of your church for other people that may be looking to come to your church. It's fantastic. I want to bring in Heather. Heather is this was from a conversation we had earlier this week. So I'm going to bring in that interview, and I will be back and see if there's any questions or anything from anybody in the chat room when we're done. Today's guest is Heather Hyman. Heather is the CEO and founder of Sweet Tea Social Marketing, Elizabethtown family, and teaches a Sweet Tea Social Marketing Academy course to scores of people. She is a social media speaker, strategist, and trainer that specializes in helping Christian business owners and entrepreneurs discover how to grow in today's noisy, and I do mean noisy, social marketplace. Heather works with big corporations, local businesses, ministries, and this is cool. She spoke at Social Media Marketing World 2017. She's been on CBS News, and this is the one that blows it out of the water for me. She has worked with a couple of different Chick-fil-A's. Now, those are the folks that make, apparently, I'm not a fan, but apparently the best sweet tea in the world. Anyway, Heather, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dave, for having me. I'm excited to be here in your community and to talk about something that we both like a lot, which is all this social media stuff.
Yes. So you are, you're becoming my go-to source for tips and tricks and understanding social media and stuff, and how to use it to engage and grow a community and to market and all that sort of stuff. So number one, thank you for that. And for those who don't know, Heather, I stumbled across her literally on accident. I was listening to someone else's podcast, and she was being interviewed, and I heard the name, and I thought, oh, this is cool. So I went and I looked her up, and I followed her on Facebook, and then the next thing I know, Heather, you come across my stream with a photograph, with my cousin, Nikki Elledge Brown. And
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so I was like, what? How did this... Worlds are colliding. What's going on here? I've been telling my audience for a while. I've been focusing a lot recently on live streaming and the need for churches and ministries to their ministries, I guess, like on a whole, not just live streaming their services, but everything else in between, and things that are happening, spur of the moment type things. Live streaming and social media go hand in hand as far as I'm concerned. You can do either one of them individually and do fine, but when you couple them together, you end up with all kinds of fantastic momentum. And I haven't really talked a lot about the social media side of it and what social media can do for churches. I've seen a lot of churches doing stuff that I think is I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of, in my brain, It is likened to the days when everybody said, I need to have a website. And then all the websites was a glorified brochure.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That mentality I see in a lot of churches on the negative side. And then on the positive side, I see fantastic examples of social media and stuff. So I know that you have a lot of experience with business and ministries and social media and stuff like that. What are you seeing that churches are making work that's working really well, and then where are you seeing some areas that maybe they're a little deficient?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to your point, there are a lot of churches that acknowledge that social media is a tool that they can and or should utilize to really make stronger connections in their community to ultimately grow their church. But I really just kind of want to call it what it is, what I'm seeing out there. And I mean no discredit or unkindness to anyone, but I really say this in love, is that so many churches feel that because they've made a Facebook page, that they've put it out there, and that because they have added the Facebook icon to their church website, many of which aren't even connected, so when you click on it, it goes nowhere, that they quote have checked a box and are on Facebook, when the truth of the matter is they are exerting zero effort on a weekly basis to actively actually be on social media. And I want to say this, and you may disagree, but the whole concept of, okay, you need a website. Okay, we've been singing that train. Like, I started in digital marketing back in 2000, back when my coworkers were like, Heather, you should buy Google. And I'm like, that sounds really weird. I'm going to go buy Krispy Kreme. Y'all go ahead, do your Google thing. Well, I should have listened to them, and I still own the Krispy Kreme stock this day. But all that said, that churches, if they just look at their social media in this mindset, how can we put our best foot forward with someone who knows nothing about our church? So when they stumble upon us on Facebook and they look at our last 5 or 10 posts, are we giving them an impression of the excellence that's going on in our church? And I will be so bold as to say, I think that your social media pages are actually the front door of your church, maybe even before your website. And churches, for the most part, have a lot of opportunity to completely surpass your competition, because a lot of the competition has, quote, the trophy we have at social media account, but they're not active and they're not showing up. So like, my number one thing is have social platforms, but then you as a church, it's not all about the people. It's not about the people that you want coming to your new youth event. You as a church have to say, can we be found guilty of having an excellent church only by what people see on Facebook or on Twitter or where your church chooses to be? So you've got to show up as a church.
Right. Yeah, I think you nailed it right there. That's a mindset that I'm running into in some cases. I have a church that wanted to start doing live streaming, and so I coached and guided them through getting things set up and getting things going. And the pastor's on board. He thinks it's great. He loves the idea and he sees the value in it and all. But he won't engage on Facebook. And I was talking with our sound guy, and I was telling him some plans and things that I wanted to do with the live streaming, and that the next upgrade that we do up in the booth there will allow us to stream to multiple platforms. And his response was, well, why don't we just stream it to our church's website so they can all just go watch it there? And I said, the same reason that we don't just stand out on the front porch of the church and say, sinners, come in here and we'll tell you about Jesus. Sinners, come in here and we'll tell you about Jesus. That's the reason that we go out and evangelize throughout our life. And we go to where people are. Jesus didn't stand at the synagogue. Jesus did teach at the synagogue and confuse the snot out of them, which was awesome. But he also went out and around and met people where they are. He went to, the tax cheat, Zacchaeus, yanked him out of the tree and said, let's go to your house for dinner, And since there are audiences, 2 billion people on Facebook active every day. So since that is happening, that's one of the things that you have to engage in, or you have to at some level engage in, because it is a mission field.
Absolutely. And to your point, the whole concept of social media and live streaming, it's it's a direction that social media is making a shift in. It's not brand new. I started doing live streaming over 2 years ago, using Periscope before Facebook Live even existed. I grew my business. I found clients, people who had never heard of me before were following me, and they've then since followed me now on Facebook. But from a church's standpoint, I'll be the first to say that if you're not comfortable being on camera, or if that feels completely unnatural, you may not do a great very first live broadcast. It doesn't have to be like anything that's an hour. Small pieces, baby steps, and tell yourself, just like you would tell your child that's doing anything for the first time, guess what? 10 times from now, after you've done this, you are going to be better. And it's going to get more natural, and you're going to get more comfortable. But when a church can say, hey, there's this new technology. Facebook is doing commercials on the Super Bowl for Facebook Live. They want more people to actually watch live videos. They are going to, for free, show your live video to the people that follow your pages, totally free, because this is a big deal that they want. So if you can do something in your actual strategy to say, let's create this because Facebook likes it and more people are going to see it, those people that come to our church or just those people that are checking it out, it actually logically makes sense to try to take advantage of that and then really try to take the gifts that you do have as a church. Maybe it's not the person who is over the digital marketing of your church that wants to be on camera, but maybe it is the pastor. Does it have to be a 20-minute sermon? No. But to get started, if your pastor has an upcoming sermon, would your pastor feel comfortable maybe on Wednesday doing a quick recording with you that literally is 90 seconds long? That's him literally saying, hey, my name is Bob Johnson, and I'm the pastor here at, Christ Lutheran Church. We want to let you know that this Sunday we're starting a new series on parenting. What does God have to say about parenting? Blah, 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 blah. Join us and feel free to visit our website. All the details are below. I'm just kind of making that up, but I'm just saying it can be about the sermon that's coming up. It could be on Monday morning saying, hey, we got 15 emails asking the same question. So I just thought I'd show up and I'm going to answer this one question here. And be human and just say we could utilize this tool of social to make connections stronger with our congregation and give people who don't know us, who don't have a clue what the pastor is, what he looks like, is he funny, does he have dry humor, what's this like, what is this church like, what could the experience be like when I walk down the nursery hallway, because I actually kind of already have an idea, because I saw someone have a live video just kind of giving a glimpse of what does the hall look like before your church starts. And those little things that you can do to just make people even more comfortable to even come in and be a first-time visitor in your church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes complete sense. I tell people it's that social media, whatever the platform, we're just going to use Facebook because it seems to be the most prevalent for full-on engagement. That you can, like with live streaming and social media, you can use it to continue the conversation that you started Sunday morning during the service. And that we've got a church down the road here that has done Monday night Q&As with the pastor. So they'll go over stuff on Sunday morning, and then he'll tell people, hey, we're going to live stream for about 20 minutes at 7 o'clock on Monday night. So if you have questions, then let's talk. Ask away, and I'll try to answer them. And that is a supplement to it's the DVD bonus to the
right.
to the service. And then throughout the week, they'll take either photographs from the pulpit or the stage or what have you, with a poignant remark that he made, or they will take a 30 or a 60-second clip of that, and then throughout the week we'll put those, do one a day and just sort of generate a little bit of conversation, and then move the conversation over to preparation for the next phase of the conversation, which is part 2 in the series, on Sunday. So I think all that is great. Do you see, just in your experience, do you see a lot of churches doing that? Do you see smaller churches doing it? Do you see medium? Do you see like the super big, huge churches? Who do you think is making the best use of social that you have seen so far?
I think it's the churches that have the support where there's someone that's on staff that's an employee of a church, and whether they're called communications director, whether they're the digital director, or if it's, some of you may call it a mega church where there's like a team of people, and they are embracing it and like running with it. And then what I see is a lot of churches that maybe have 500 members or less, and there's not someone on staff that is paid to do that, but there may be someone that maybe they do have the title of marketing director, but they themselves are like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I value and know that we need to be doing something. Even if the live video stuff feels like overwhelming, because I get it. I live in the digital marketing space, and sometimes a lot of the tech things on the back end, it's not my favorite. So I outsource it, and I bring people in who actually love it and enjoy that, because my happy place is teaching people how to do it, how to do social well, and strategy. So what I use, strategy is just a big word that means you have a plan. So it's like, I'll tell you as a church, if your goal is to get new people, or your goal is to increase your tithing, you're trying to increase community outreach to different events you have going on, whatever your goals are for your church, your social media plan needs to align with that. And so to make it not sound like I'm negative, and I want to be positive, so you have some things that you can do. If you, let's say, have 4 big events a year, there's like a church team at your church that, probably 45 days prior to those events are thinking about that event and trying to help it be successful, or maybe even more than that. But I will tell you that, Dave, I see so many feeds that are filled with, like right now, it's all Easter stuff. Like there's nothing else on their church until they're getting ready for Christmas. And you want people who have like a thriving relationship with Christ to not be I'm only going to go to church on Christmas and Easter. And you need to do the same thing when you think about building relationships, not only with your current attendees, but even people whom you don't know. So ask yourself, can we show up and consistently give helpful information? What are you going to post about? And that's what a lot of churches struggle with. So ask yourself, for the person who's never been to our church, are we showing up doing a post every 2 weeks saying, hey, if you've never visited our church before, here's a link to our website with, where to park, times, and make that accessible on social media, or make a graphic that literally says, our church starts at 9 and 10:30. Just ask yourself, what are the questions that we get asked over and over and over? And maybe those are questions by visitors. And so you should answer those on social. And then, of course, you do want to talk about the things that are coming up. But sometimes there will be someone that will go to the effort. They'll have an event. Someone will make a super splendid graphic. And then you'll see that same one graphic 79 times on social media between when they launched it and when it happens. And I'm like, I get it. Like, in theory, they mean well. That's the only
thing they're promoting.
They mean well, but wow.
But yeah.
You guys are, it's almost competitive with like the car dealership.
Right.
It's like, slow down, like show up. It's a church, for goodness sakes. So let's just post like an inspiring Bible verse
exactly.
that could just maybe help someone in the middle of like a hard day, like meet
right.
people where they are.
Right.
I mean, don't overthink it. Just say, how can we help? What do we have at our church that are either programs or things that can help that single mom, or maybe there is a mom's morning out, or maybe there is a divorce care program in the evenings, and talk about that. And that said, a lot of churches might just think that social media is like their digital billboard of like that cork board that's
Mm-hmm.
like in the church.
Yeah.
And so I want churches to really realize that social is this thing where people are actually having a two-way conversation.
Right.
So as a church, here's an example. When I was helping out my own church with social media near Christmas, of course I was helping them promote a couple of events. But I also just randomly went in there. Sometimes I made it in a graphic because, a graphic on social media gets people's attention. It doesn't cost anymore.
Right.
It takes up more space in the feed. And it literally says, do you right now have a real or an artificial tree in your house? Like, I wasn't asking them the day they got saved. I was
Right.
literally having a conversation about what was real and happening.
Yep.
And whether they were a Christian or not, the feed just went on and on and on about people saying, we have a real tree. This is a tradition in our family.
Yeah.
No one will
we
go
get a
with
real
me.
tree, just like Jesus and his family did.
Right. And it just created a dialogue.
That's
and
right.
So in the world of Facebook, when people are reacting and engaging and commenting on the things that you as a church are posting, that tells Facebook, hey, people like this. You know what we're going to do? We're going to show this now to more people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can do things on your social media platforms
Mm-hmm.
that get more interaction, you're actually getting all the juices or the love of the Facebook algorithm, so to
Right.
say, to be in your favor. And then more people see it, and it helps create this snowball that you like and that you want as a church.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. What about, we've been talking about the church, as the entity. I'm of the opinion that the staff members need to be regularly contributing individually to the Facebook page, right? So the pastor needs to be putting things and posting them on there and then turning around and sharing that onto his own either his own personal profile or his public figure page or what have you. And the same thing with the worship leader and the education minister and missions director and whoever else, that these people are contributing to the public feed for the church. And I've also seen in some cases where one of the lead pastor or something will share something totally personal. He and his daughter's sweet 16 birthday dance or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm curious what your thoughts are on sharing the personal life aspects of the leadership. And personally, I think it's something that helps showcase the culture of the church at large. We're a church that loves our children. We're a church that where the pastor loves his wife. That sort of stuff. And it also shows the honesty of the leaders' hearts. I'm just curious. Do you think that is something that is underdone, overdone, should not be done? Keep things separate. What do you think is appropriate or effective?
That's a great question. And I think that for the most part, I'd say it's probably underdone. I don't see that as much as I would love to see it. I think that it should be done, especially if there is like an actual strategy that it's not just 7 people all having access to a page and, on one church's feed. Like there kind of needs to be a little structure to it. But I absolutely agree that if a pastor or the associate pastor or someone that's on the leadership team or an employee of the church, and they, let's say, just went and dropped off their first child to college, and they may not want to have a photo of them all in tears crying, but it could just be a picture of the pastor and their wife after they just dropped the daughter off or with her, or smiling shot. But even just a couple sentences saying, wow, today was a really tough day. We took our daughter off to college. You don't have to mention the name of the college if you don't want, for the privacy of the daughter. And again, all those things can really be taken into account with the personality of the people that are posting that. But I think that it makes you more relatable. It makes you more human. It makes the person that has the college student see that and say, oh, I really like him as a pastor, or I really like that person, but now, like, I had no idea that they were going through this exact same season as us. Um, and that next time that you see that person, it may spark a conversation. And I think that when you can do things as a church to make it feel less robotic, to make it feel less formal, to make it feel like, hey, let's be honest, we can talk all day long about people are putting Taylor Swift up on a pedestal, but even sometimes in church worlds, they're like, that's the pastor. Like, the pastor doesn't know everybody's name in this church with 2,000 people, but it just creates more opportunity for more connections. And I, as a social media person, and I think personally that great strategy on social is about building relationships. And then I think as a Christian that Jesus taught us in his ministry on this earth was about going out, loving others. He led this life with no sin, but he was out building relationships. And he was making these one on one connections. And social, when done well, can help you and your organization and your church and your ministry do that better.
You know, you said that a lot of churches, they get larger, and the pastor gets more and more removed from the average person sitting in the pew, just by virtue of size and time. You know,
Right.
that's just that's just a fact of life. You go down and you pray with them, or one of the ministry team or something like that. But the reality is that when church is over, the pastor has the two couples that he and his wife go and have catfish with. Just like you and your husband go have barbecue with, someone from your Sunday school class. And the pastor does get, that's the pastor. I've met him once. That kind of a thing. Social can help break down the barriers, and
Absolutely.
give the pastor, I think, give the pastor the ability to shepherd a small group, because the small group is the people that would comment on something that he says or a question that he asks, and he can interact directly with them. What platforms do you think are the most effective? And when we're talking about social, there's so much interweaving in between different things. YouTube is a video platform. It's a place designed to build an audience, right? Facebook has now become a place to build an audience. Periscope is a place to build an audience. These are also publishing points to get your stuff out there. This has also become places to have conversations. I mean, people have conversations in YouTube comments that end up going way beyond any of the actual topic of the video itself. So what do you think for a church that is, we need to do something with social, or we need to get into this arena, where do you think they should start? Where do you think the most bang for their time buck is going to be?
Okay, so I think that the easy answer to that question has a couple stipulations to it, and I'm going to tell you. But I think the best place for churches is to go to Facebook. And if they want to put some ad spend, meaning some money, behind some of their posting, it's going to be seen by more people. That will help. It does not have to be $1 million. Even if a church said, we have a campaign to get more people to have a brand awareness that we exist, and we are going to test and experiment, and we are going to put $1 a day behind this 2-minute video, or behind this Bible verse, or behind this. Do it, try it, and experiment with it for 3 months, and have, $100 or less that you spend, and kind of look at the data and see what results it's getting you. But more importantly than that costs no money, that takes a little bit of time, is to say, if you currently have an established church, even if you're a church plant with, 50 to several hundred people that are at your church, or even if it's an established church and you want it to grow, you need to consider being on Facebook. You need to consider having conversations as a part of your little time where maybe you call them announcements in your church, and you need to educate and train your audience to know that you as a church are active on social. But I say that the stipulation here is that you've got to actually show up. You've got to be having information that's worthy of people sharing. But if you are, let's say, have an event that's coming up that's in October, if you as a church are talking about it, you're posting some Bible verses, you're showing up, doing these things that we've talked about through this conversation, and then you get up for 90 seconds or less, 3 months in a row at church from the pastor, from someone in leadership, and you say, hey guys, we know that 95% of you all spend time every day on Facebook. And what we want you to know is that come be social with us, because it's going to help us impact our community. So it's like, even if only 50 people sitting in church go and share about your event. I mean, think about that for just a second. That's 50 shares. Let's just say that they only have 500 friends on Facebook. Even if only 100 of those people see it, you just took 50 people times 100, and you're significantly making an impact in a local community for the mission and vision of your church. So it's not you going and stalking your audience and saying, everything we do, we need you to like, share, and comment every post. That's not what I'm saying. But if you, from a leadership position as a church, say, follow us on facebook.com/ First Baptist Little Rock. You need to be saying it. If you have slides, it needs to be on slides. If you do email, it just needs to be like constantly. And you will, over the course of time, and if you're starting this from ground zero, it takes time to train and let the culture of your church know that this is important. And when the pastor says it's important, or the pastor even says, hey guys, we would love for you to share over the next 10 days 2 of our posts if you think it could impact our community. And guess what? Little by little, you'll start getting more natural traction, and then that's going to get you more exposure in your community in like a really powerful way.
When you were talking about that, I was thinking, this is like when it's time for Vacation Bible School, and about a month before Vacation Bible School, someone gets up there and says, and you can pick up your yard signs right over here. And everybody starts putting a yard sign in their yard about, VBS at First Baptist Church, July 23rd through the 29th, that kind of thing. And that's what this is. This is social. When it comes to promoting, it's the equivalent of doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, and beyond Facebook, Instagram, especially if you have a strong youth, and by youth I mean someone under 30 in your church. Right. Instagram is really a powerful place. Yeah. And Twitter is actually a really popular platform for a lot of pastors. A lot of pastors really like Twitter because it's really short. Mm-hmm. They don't have to have like a sermon's worth of thoughts to say. But when, as a pastor, if you can get under his own name, if you can get pastors out there active on Twitter, and then within the church, and if they have an actual church Twitter account, and they're out there retweeting the pastor, and you can just kind of start to create some energy, use some hashtags, both on Instagram and Twitter, that are relevant to the town that you live in, you can quickly start to see some energy on both of those platforms for the purpose of a church and awareness and letting more people know what's going on inside the walls of your church.
That's good info. I may have to have you back so that we can talk a little strategy or something with that.
Yeah.
That kind of an idea, a whole hashtag strategy and stuff.
Yes.
That's something that I use really loosely, but I don't strategize with my hashtags and all that. And I think the audience would benefit from learning how to make some of that stuff work.
Absolutely.
Tell me how folks can get in contact with you, Miss Heather.
Sure. The best thing to do would be to tell you to go to my website, which is sweetteasocialmarketing.com. And then you'll see on my website that I've got a free Facebook community for Christian leaders and business owners
Mm-hmm.
that you can join. And then at the bottom, you'll see links to all of my social places. So
Okay.
because I do social, I think it's important to show up and actually walk the walk. So I am pretty active on several platforms, but I spend lots of time on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Yeah. Heather, thank you so much. Oh, you have a podcast. You want to let some of the folks out there know about your podcast?
Yeah. So if you're like my mom and you're like, what's a podcast? How do I find a podcast? You can find it. You just listen to it absolutely for free. The cool thing is you can go to my website, and if you don't want to get into iTunes, you can literally watch it or listen to it from the sweetteasocialmarketing.com, but it's called Business, Jesus, and Sweet Tea. I promise if you type in Business, Jesus, and Sweet Tea on iTunes, you'll see it. You'll know that you're in the right place. And we have right now to date about 14 episodes that are up and running, and it goes live every Tuesday. And yeah, I'd love for your listeners. It's basically a place where I talk about tips and strategies on how to use social media to grow your business. I interview leading experts and influencers that are actually getting results. And it's not a bunch of theory. It's about here is what real people are doing, and here are the real results that they're doing, and really try to oftentimes have guests who are really just speaking how they are letting their faith and God really speak into the purpose that they are doing in their lives.
Awesome. Awesome. And I like your podcast, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
I think it's great. You're on my phone and in my regular rotation. In
I
fact,
feel pretty cool.
in fact, I believe next week when I am mowing my yard, I will be listening to 1 or 2 episodes of your show. So thank you for making my mowing an enjoyable experience.
I try. I aim to please.
Thank you, Heather, for such great insight. One of the big takeaways that I got from the interview there was how much she has seen churches basically set up a Facebook page because they have to, because we have to have a Facebook page, and then they only use it for promotion. That's it. That really does remind me of back, gosh, in the mid 90s, in the early 2000s. I would be talking to churches saying, "Hey, we need to put together a website for your church," or "Oh, we have a website," and then you go and look at their website, and it's a glorified brochure. I mean, nothing changes on there. And I remember I would go and take a look at the calendar of events and stuff. And the most recent event is something from 9 months ago. Back to school, back to school 2016. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And when you have a Facebook page, Facebook is part of social media, right? Something that I think we all forget is that social media is first and foremost social. That's the whole thing. When Zuckerberg put Facebook together, aside from the original idea of a place to meet chicks, the idea as it started becoming Facebook was for people to engage, to connect people so that they could engage with each other. That is why we're all there. If you really think about it, why did you sign up for a Facebook account? Did you sign up so that you could get marketed to? Boy, I really, really, really want to see an ad from, name the place, from Netflix. I am really looking forward to seeing an ad about how I can, work from home and work for 10 hours a week and make $100,000 a month. God, if I could get more of those ads, that's not what it's there for. It's there because you said, "Oh, my friend from high school that I haven't spoken to in 20 years is on Facebook. Oh, my neighbor is on Facebook. Oh, my pastor is on Facebook." It's social. So we need to engage and talk and share things and like things. That includes the church as well. The church as an entity needs to, the organization, right? So a post from Tate Springs Baptist Church. But there also needs to be engagement, I think, from the staff members. The pastor needs to post on the page. The worship leader needs to post. the youth leader, the education leader, the missions director, the whatever other staff that you have on there in that forward-facing type of ministry role, I say they need to be contributing to the Facebook page. And one thing you need to be careful of is not everybody posting and promoting the same thing. Like she said, you've got 5 people on staff that are forward facing. When I say forward facing, I'm talking about the face of the ministry. Your pastor is the face of your church. Your worship leader is the face of your church. He's one of the people that speaks on behalf of the church, right? So be sure that you don't have Easter service, Easter service, Easter service, Easter service, Easter service. All 4 of you have posted that on there. Be sure that there is a strategy in place so that when we have something to promote, the pastor will promote it, or the person who's in charge of that ministry is the one who's going to do it. So the pastor will be the one who promotes the series that he's preaching on, the new series that he's preaching on. He'll post the video trailer for it. He'll post last week's service, or he'll post a clip from one of the earlier services that he did, or the earlier messages in that series. He'll be the one who does that. Now, then the worship leader will be the one who is promoting the Christmas pageant that's coming up, the Christmas service. The education will be the one who is posting the things about Promotion Sunday, where the 6th graders go into the youth group and the 5th graders go to the 6th grade class and that sort of thing. You see what I'm saying? So the people that are in charge of their ministries, they're the ones that do the promotion. That way you're not going to be seeing 50 things. Now, once that person has done that and you have it on the Facebook page for the church, then the individual staff members and the church members and everybody needs to share those onto their timeline, of course, to help propagate that message, whatever is currently being promoted. But remember, it's not just about promotion, okay? It's not about promotion. It's about continuing the conversation. It's about engaging. It's about this kind of hit me yesterday during the interview, and I went on and wrote it down, that this is, let's see, social media allows a pastor to shepherd people regardless of his church's size. The pastor's a shepherd. And we all, I grew up in a small town. I grew up in a town of 5,000 people. I'm not lying. The population of that town has remained consistent within about 150 people. It was 5,000, 5,150, 5,000, 4,000, 800 or 850. I mean, it's ridiculous. Our church has consistently been in the 150 to 250 range. Everybody knows everybody. It's, 10 families for the most part. It's 15 families. So everybody knows everybody. So, hey, Pastor, you want to go get some lunch after church? Of course. Walk over to his house. Hang out with him. Barbecue. Do that. I grew up knowing my ministers. I mean, having keys to their houses in some cases, Today, in our larger churches, as the church grows, I mean, there's your mega churches, was it Lakewood, where Joel Osteen is, and there's around here we've got Fellowship, and we've got Life Church, and we've got other churches that have multiple thousands of people, but 80% of them are in the 2, 3, 5, 6, 800 range across the country. Those numbers for one man to try to have a personal relationship with everybody in his church is very hard to do. A good pastor will do his best to know everybody, or at least know of everybody as much as he can. But you pull them aside, a lot of them, when you say, hey, do you know Bob Smith? Let's just say that's a good name to pull out. The pastor's going to say, remind me who he is. He's the guy that sits back here in the back. Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay. They don't have that personal relationship. Social media will allow them, if they engage in it, will allow them to talk to an audience of people who are listening, in some cases, in a much more intimate, even though it's public, in a much more intimate way. just like you and I do when we're talking with either each other, on the Church Training Academy page or on my personal profile, on your personal profile, or when we're engaging with our friends. All of a sudden, you'll see something that says, hey, guys, from, Senton High School, remember this? And someone will post up a picture of, the mascot from 25 years ago and be like, oh, my gosh, yes. And then you start talking with people, and then you say, you remember when we did this? Remember when we did that? Now you've got, even though the world is available to see it, or your list of friends is available to see it, you're still able to have these conversations and interact with these people, the 5, 6, 10 people that are commenting in this one thread. About a year ago, my fraternity guys and I, somebody posted some memory, some picture, and over the course of the weekend, we had 2,500, it seemed, maybe comments in that thing. Just us talking, and these little subsets of comments of talking about certain things, and then that little subset kind of gets finished talking, and then it goes back to the main comment thread, and it just keeps going. It's absolutely amazing. You can empower your pastor by encouraging him to participate in social media, to participate on Facebook, to engage the people, to talk to the people that he is preaching to on a weekly basis. Anyway, I'm going to let it go from there. If you guys have any questions, or if anybody has any comments or anything, please be sure to leave them in the comments here on the Facebook page or in the YouTube channel. You can also email me, Dave at churchtrainingacademy.com. Let's see. Oop, there you go. That's me, Dave Curley. You can email me. And if you guys are thinking about doing live streaming or adding live streaming to your ministry, or have considered live streaming, whether it's live streaming your service formally, or whether it is wanting to know how you could take the concept of live streaming and bring it into your ministry as a whole, go get this free guide. It's called I'm working on Podcasting for Churches the Easy Way. Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way is what it's called. So go to easylivestreaming.com, grab a free copy there, and get some ideas. And then also let me know how I can help you guys, okay? So leave a comment, email me, Dave at churchtrainingacademy.com. Tell me how I can help you. Tell me what you guys are looking to learn, what you're interested in, what you have questions about. I'm here to serve. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all. I hope everybody has an absolutely fantastic week. Now, take what you've learned here and go out there and change some lives, okay?